Hey guys, my name's Chris, and this is Financial Fitness, and I got a good friend of mine, Nicholas, on tonight. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are things down south?
Man, it's good. It rained all day here. Um, I got you on today to talk about the IFORM Act because it's an internet. What is it called? Integrity, notification, and fairness in online retail marketplaces. We were talking earlier about these acts that start with integrity, and we were getting a kick out about. I wonder who had integrity that wrote the act.
Yeah, which party involved in this had integrity? Was it the politicians or the CEOs of these multinational corporations?
Because that's what it boils down to. And how this came up was during the looting and all the crap that's going on in these liberal states that treat their citizens like spoiled little kids and give them all these social garbage to get reelected. It's all falling apart in these states. And the people looting are supposedly putting their loot on these small, outlets on the internet, eBay, and not that eBay's small, but that's where they're supposed to be distributing them. And my buddy Nick has been in the business since I've known him. He's been in it forever, and I thought he could talk about it better than me. So, what do you think about it?
Well, my first thought is that it's a bit of a red herring because I don't think it's going to solve the problem of mass retail theft at all. In fact, these very same corporations that are lobbying for this are largely responsible for what's going on in the first place. Because if you look at whose campaigns they financed, who they've supported politically, which groups they have donated to, these are all the players that support the riots and looting. So they're really just using this retail theft as an opportunity to go after their smaller competition.
Yeah, a lot like the oil guys, the big oil guys and regulations. They love regulations. It keeps the small guys out. Well, I want to make a whole video on that. We talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the big stores can absorb this activity, and the little stores are hanging on by a wing and a prayer after the woohoo bat flu and
Right.
all the other regulations they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that are happening that you know of that are really happening right now with it?
Well, if you look at this whole dynamic between the big corporation versus the small business, let's go back to when these riots first started. Who was the primary victim of these riots? It was the small businesses that were getting firebombed. It was the brick and mortar mom and pop stores that were getting utterly decimated. And yes, a few of the big box stores, a few Targets or what have you, they got looted as well. But they were back in business in a matter of days. Their competition, however, never did recover. They were totally destroyed. And so, they may have had to absorb a few $100,000 in lost product, but that's a small price to pay to utterly decimate all of your local competition, which is what happened. And so coming right out of that, this pandemic starts. And this is where we saw this lucrative merger of corporation and state, which, of course, is the definition of fascism. And the state said to the big box retailers, you're essential. Don't worry. You can stay open. But they told the mom and pop stores, no, these stores sell the exact same thing as the corporations by and large. And they're not allowed to stay open. You're not allowed to feed your to work, make a living, feed your family. And if you try, we will send our armed bootlickers to your store. We will drag you out of your place of business and we will throw you in jail. And that's exactly what happened all across the country, from the gym owners in New Jersey to the salon owner in Texas. All the while, these politicians, these leaders are releasing hardened criminals out of jails in the name of this pandemic, but they're more than happy to lock up people who actually committed no crimes. They committed no they broke no legislative law, and they were imprisoned for just trying to earn a living.
Reminds me of a saying, nobody ever escaped tyranny by obeying.
You cannot that's what fly your way to freedom yet. Well, I think it's the tip of the iceberg. So the IFORM Act is wanting to create transparency for buyers so they know who they're buying from. By and large, that's already happening and has happened on most of the online marketplaces. This just implements a greater or an additional layer of bureaucracy and red tape for an online seller to have to comply with in order to sell. But I think where it's really going to go is next, because this isn't going to solve the retail theft problem. That's just a fact, not going to solve it. So I think the next thing they're going to do is say, okay, well, that didn't fix it. So now we need you to provide verification of where you're getting your items that you're selling. We're going to need itemized receipts of where you purchased it, who you bought it from. And that's just going to be this whole other level of administrative burden on small businesses that are already under a tremendous burden as it is. The biggest threat to these elites is an upwardly mobile middle class. And it's guys like us that have ideas that produce that, as we succeed, we become a threat. And what they really want us to be is subservient. They need us to be in that lower spectrum. They really want two classes, a ruling class and a serf class. And history proves this out. All you have to do is look at history in the 20th century, the Soviet Union, any type of Marxist country, and Marxism is really prevailing.
So we're having some technical issues, but I really appreciate Nick coming on. The IFORM Act is just another thing that's stifling small businesses, and I thought y'all might need to know about it. Thanks for coming on, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
This is Financial Fitness. I will see you tomorrow.
Then the message said, end of message.